Hi everyone. I hope you guys are good and you managed to enjoy the sun. I've got a little bit of heat stroke actually. I've got such a horrible headache. I get them often with the sun. So yeah, but it's been really beautiful and I hope you've managed to enjoy the day. Hi Tulsi, hi Sim, hi Dina. Great to have you guys here. So tonight I'm going to be catching up with Serj, so also known as Dr. Tabla. I caught up with him about a month ago now, I think. He's a frontline worker, so he works in A&E, and we touched base upon, what was going on with this whole COVID pandemic and how it was about a month ago. So we thought we'd catch up again today just for an update and to also discuss, the impact that this situation is having on frontline workers and on their mental health. So I'm going to add Serjeevan in now. Hi Serj, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Are you still in a hotel?
Yeah.
How long
It's
has it been now?
8 weeks tomorrow.
Wow. And have you literally not seen the family for 8 weeks? Or have you kind of done some sort of social distancing
Yeah,
meet up?
so literally I don't get too much time off at the moment. I'm
Yeah.
doing lots of sort of extra shifts on top of my the coronavirus rota that we've had.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Try to do social kind of just to get some food really. Just to go back you know, quickly 2-3 minutes sometimes, not even that, but get some food and come back.
Oh,
Because
it must be.
it does take its toll.
Yeah, I mean, when we last spoke, I think it had only been a short while since you'd been at the hotel, so it's still quite new. And I guess it's really hard to comprehend how it's going to feel not seeing your family for that long, or not living with them when that's your home. How are you feeling now? Like how are you feeling about being away from them? And how are they feeling?
I miss them. I miss them like crazy. But I do, the beauty of social media, the beauty of the internet, being able to sort of speak to them every single day. I actually call my mum like literally on my breaks, and sometimes say, look, this is what I've done. This is what's going on and stuff, just to kind of try and release
Yeah,
some of the tension that we go through. Because it's been a massive change. Like the whole
yeah.
industry, everything that the NHS is completely different to how it was. Um,
And how has it been since the last time we spoke? Like, how is it? It was already different anyway from what you guys were used to, but how has it changed now since then, since 4 weeks ago? What is the situation like now? What's the mood like? Do you think
so
feel more
yeah,
in control?
definitely more in control in terms of we have specific guidelines that we follow.
Mm-hmm.
We can definitely differentiate much easier between the sick and the not so sick. But what we're seeing now in the last sort of the last week or just over a week after the sort of release of the
Mm.
lockdown, is that we're seeing things kind of going back to how they were in terms of the sheer number and volume of patients coming in.
Oh my
People
God.
going out. We're seeing a lot more trauma. We're seeing a lot of mental health
Yeah,
cases in A&E now, which is very sad. Um, but numbers have shot up. So I've just literally done the last 3 days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm on days at the moment. So we start very, very early. We start at 7 a.m. and we finish at 4 p.m. But it's literally like non-stop. Very,
yeah,
very sick patients coming in. Uh, ver a lot fewer cases of suspected coronavirus. But then
yeah,
if we are admitting a patient, then they do get swabbed. And who
yeah,
knows, they could come back positive, they could come back negative. Um,
yeah.
the thing is, I have my qualms about these things. The social distancing, the government rules at the moment. A lot of confusion going on at the moment, and a
How
lot
are
of
you
people
feeling?
disobeying it.
Yeah, I mean, they were disobeying it before it was even kind of relaxed. And this is
Mm-hmm.
what was quite shocking. You know, you're now giving people even more permission to go out and do what they want. And some of the images that you shared, you know, of, was it Brighton Beach?
Brighton
Oh,
Beach.
like, what is wrong with,
It's
how are you, you know, there's people that are going out and risking their lives every day. And then on the polar opposite, you've got people that just are almost think that they're untouchable and that this won't impact them. Um,
mm,
how do you guys feel about the whole lockdown being relaxed? Do you agree with it? Do you think it was too soon? Um, Evidently, given that the cases are rising now, but you're saying that there's been an increase in the number of patients coming into A&E. Is
mm.
that COVID related, or is it, you know, people have gone out, gotten really drunk, fallen off, I don't know, fallen off a ladder or something? Is it that?
it's
What?
I mean, it's everything. Look, to be honest, patients should come to A&E if there's
Yeah,
an issue. You know,
yeah,
a patient with chest pain shouldn't be sitting at home getting chest
yeah,
pain. They say that time is muscle.
yeah,
So, the longer you leave it, the more of your, cardiac muscle is basically sitting there potentially getting affected and dying, So uh, I would definitely urge patients who have serious problems or, if a patient has a chronic condition and they're getting worse, they have to get help.
yeah,
But we're also seeing a lot of irresponsible people, a lot of a lot of our alcohol admissions, people getting drunk, everything's going up. There's a lot more trauma coming in, and it's sometimes very difficult to cope, actually. Mental health has gone, very, very high in our department. It's a very affluent area, and so we already see a lot of mental health in this area anyway, but it's literally going up and up and up.
And how are you guys kind of coping with the different kind of mix up of patients coming in? Like mental health is quite different to, you know, dealing with somebody that's had trauma. So how are you dealing with the different kind of makeup of the types of patients coming in?
Well, we have an amazing team, from the nursing staff to the psychiatry liaison team, and then even our training has increased in terms of mental health. But we have a lot of support from different teams. The GPs are great, even though GPs can't really run clinics at the moment, but they're doing a lot of video and telephone conversations. There's a lot of societies out there like Mind. There's the Mental Health Society. There's the NHS website. There's 111. But when these patients are in a crisis and they come in, we just tend to them. We have private rooms. We do see a lot of agitated patients and sometimes a bit aggressive patients. We see a lot of drug abuse. But there are teams. There's some amazing team workers that we have who are really helping.
To
Um,
manage?
yeah, but we just say, look, if there is a crisis, call 111 or get some help and come and see us. So we're here for you guys.
So with the lockdown being relaxed now, would you say that the number of COVID related illnesses have gone up or about the same? Is any busy because of COVID, or is it busy because people are being a little bit irresponsible? Is that what's kind of made the numbers creep up again? What is driving it?
I think it's the release of the lockdown is just so a lot more. I think a lot more people are less scared of coming into A&E.
Mm,
When it was lockdown, everyone was like, "Oh, I'm not coming. I'm not going out. I'm not going anywhere." And that
mm,
was actually that's quite dangerous as well.
yeah,
We already know that unfortunately, it's the very vulnerable people, the people with chronic disease, and the elderly people who are going to be the sickest
yeah.
patients. We are still seeing suspected cases. So, you know, for example, if a patient comes in with a fever, but has abdominal pain, or has, you know, a head injury, but they have a fever, we still have to treat them as suspected coronavirus.
Yeah.
So, because at the moment there's, you know, there's not enough information about this virus. There's a lot
Yeah.
of asymptomatic patients out there. There's a lot of asymptomatic people out there. That's why social distancing is so incredibly important.
Yeah.
And people are just not getting that. That's the you know, the key to kind of reducing the spread.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think the government's thinking is that, which is understandable, but you know, with these pandemics, with viruses, with these sorts of things, there should be a little bit of spread to activate a herd immunity.
Yeah.
But it's very dangerous. It's a dangerous game, I think, to play.
Yeah. I mean, how are you guys feeling about, you know, schools going back? So, you know, what are your thoughts on that? That's obviously something quite relevant to us and to people that are following this page. What are your thoughts on that? How do you think that will impact things? Or
I think it's you know, only time will tell. I do think it's a little bit too soon, and
mm,
I really feel for the teachers as well.
yeah,
You know, there's not enough. Let alone the NH. There's not enough equipment, even in the NHS. I have colleagues who are, you know, working without PPE sometimes, and then they're saying to teachers that they shouldn't be wearing masks and things like that. I don't understand. It's a silly thing. Kids are what we call super spreaders.
mm,
Um, you know, I was speaking to someone. You know, pediatrics is actually one of my big interests. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm training to do, is pediatric emergency medicine. I haven't actually seen a child for a long time,
yeah,
but there's lots of conditions like asthma, bronchiolitis, which are viral conditions of the airways,
yeah,
which they get these things. And the thing is, you see that the children actually get bronchiolitis sometimes even 5, 6, 7 times a year, and it's
yeah.
because they pick up things. They literally pick up things, they
It's
carry
easy
it,
for
they
them.
spread it around. You know, the toys that are in these nursery departments and stuff.
Yeah,
How are you going to get them to clean these things every day? And, you know, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I think it's too soon. It's
yeah.
but
I
obviously
think
then you have
for
to look at.
oh, has it frozen?
That's frozen.
Can you hear me now, Serge?
Yeah, is it mine or is it yours? Sorry.
Yeah, I think it might be mine. Sometimes in the evening, I'm in my office at the moment, and the Wi-Fi's a bit
Okay,
dodgy
I
in here.
just
So
turned to 4G, so I've taken it off
same
Wi-Fi.
here.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we spoke, you know, I was very torn about what to do. So somebody's mentioned here, you know, if the kids have been off since March, will it impact their mental health? Now,
Mm.
the thing is, it's weighing up what's right for your family, isn't it? So for us, my issue is the fact that, you know, Sargent is, you know, high risk because he's got a suppressed immune system. And on the other side, I've been really struggling to have Arjun at home because he's just not interested in studying, and I have to really stop. And I spoke to his teacher yesterday, and we had a really good chat. And she kind of led me into saying, no, of course he's not coming back. Like, you know, you can't risk. The risk is far greater of sending him back than it would be if, you know, for him needing to catch up with some studying. I mean, you can catch up with that, but if Sergeant was to get the virus, we don't know what, you know, what could potentially happen. So for us, we've made the decision to not send the boys back until September. And of
Yeah,
course, yes,
that's
there is a whole Yeah, there's a whole thing about, well, when they go back in September, we don't know what it's going to be like, which is true. But I guess at the moment, I feel like because I have got a little bit of a choice, I'm going to take the safer option from my family. And I agree with you. I
Yeah.
feel so sorry for teachers. They're completely lost. They don't really know what's going on. They don't know what it's supposed to look like. We got an email to say to make it today to make it very clear that we will not be, their school will not be practicing social distancing with the kids, because that will have major impact on on their mental health. They're not going to understand why they have to sit 2 meters away from their friends. Part of their learning is to interact. So it's very unfair to kind of expect that from children as well. So if you're sending your child in, it's, you've got to go in knowing that they're going to mix in with a small group of children. But of course, if you've got somebody vulnerable at home, it's, how do you know who those children have been mixing in with? It's all based on trust. And sorry, 1 second. Yeah. It's just urgent. Can you believe they're still
So
awake? Our bedtime has just gone.
it's fine.
Oh, I can't wait.
How is he? So cute.
He's just set up movie night downstairs, and I'm like, it's like way past your bedtime, and he's like, I've set up movie platters for you as a surprise. So yeah, I've got that to look forward to. Yeah, so we've made that choice for us. But I really feel for teachers. I just, they've got families as well, and they didn't sign up for this when they became teachers. I guess you'd never guess that this was going to happen. But yeah, it's tough. And when do you think I've stopped watching the news completely, just because I'm living in my little bubble at home and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'd rather just not know how many people are dying out there. It's just really hard to sort of stomach that and process it on a day-to-day basis. So with this second wave, when is that likely to sort of hit? Or do you guys not?
I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of thought, there's a lot of thinking going behind this. I think the government, as I said, have tried to release the lockdown slowly just to see what happens, which is kind of very dangerous. So we know that this virus kind of hangs in the system, can hang in the system for a couple of weeks, where patients can be completely asymptomatic. And then, if the immune system goes into overdrive, then the patient will start feeling symptoms, and then they can get quite sick, or, it could go either way. Either, kind of get better, or they get worse, but then you don't even know, like, if they've had it or not, because they're not testing enough. I think if there is going to be a second wave, it will come within the next week. So the reason that I do follow the death count. It just comes, to us at work. We do talk about this stuff all the time because we're right in the middle of everything. The deaths have kind of dropped. They're dropping, but they're plateauing, dropping. But I think that's the effect of the lockdown that we just went through. So now that they've released it, we're going to have to see what happens. Maybe next week, in a couple of weeks.
What are your thoughts? Yeah, let's see. I guess only time will tell, isn't it? But the way people are behaving it's really scary. It is so scary. But I guess it is what it is. There's only so much.
There's so many. Yeah, there's so many unanswered questions. We don't know enough about this virus. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and to be honest, 8 weeks or a couple of months is nothing. There are lots of researches going on. There's papers, publications. I try and read them like all the time. Different drugs. I mean, look at Trump taking this chloroquine drug that the WHO have completely advised against, because these things come with risks. Everything comes with risks. People, you just don't know what you're dealing with. People could get reinfected. We don't know how the immune system works. We don't know how it attacks the immune system. It's there's a lot of unanswered questions.
It's tough, but how are you? What is the general mood like at work at the moment? What is the kind of, what are people feeling? How are your colleagues? How are you? How are you feeling, 8 weeks into this, living apart from families, still dealing with this surreal kind of world on a day-to-day basis? How are you feeling? You were quite upbeat and positive 4 weeks ago. How are you feeling now? Are you still feeling, that same energy? Is it kind of wearing a bit thin, with being away from the family? How are you feeling?
I have my on and off days. I'm not gonna lie. To be honest, I I love working, um, and to be honest, I think a lot of the staff that I work with love being there too. We just love helping people, and like
Yeah.
that is what keeps us going. We love the job. That's what we've trained to do. We trained to treat the sickest of the sick. Trained in communication. I went to St. George's in London, did a lot of communication studies and stuff like that, which is really important in terms of empathy, because a lot of people are going through a lot of horrible things at the moment. I mean, I've seen colleagues, or I've got a colleague who got very sick. We've seen our colleagues get sick. We've also
Gosh.
seen some colleagues in the Royal College of Emergency Medicine unfortunately pass away. Um, it's You have your up and downs. You do have your up and downs. But
And I think,
everyone at work is going through it.
yeah, and I think maybe, do you feel almost more comforted when you're with your colleagues?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
You almost feel more sort of safer and comforted and uplifted when you're with your colleagues as opposed to being alone in a hotel room without without the family or whatever. Does it feel,
Yeah.
safer when you're at work? Not
Yeah,
safer.
so
I mean, you feel more sort of. You all get it. You're all in the same boat.
we all get it, and we all kind of lift each other up.
Yeah,
We have well-being meetings, and
good.
we have a lot of teaching, and you know, this is the stuff that boosts our morale, because even though we're going through this pandemic, we're going through a lot of sadness. We're also learning a lot more. We're doing a lot of
Yeah.
teaching. We do a lot of ultrasound training here, which is amazing. I've got my next rotation, so I'm going to be rotating to Brighton for trauma in August. Uh, so everyone is kind of getting on. They're trying to open up our exams again for us, and we are still thinking of the future. We're still very positive, actually.
Which is really important, isn't it, to sort of gain perspective? It's to sort of see beyond this pandemic to give you that kind of focus and to just get you through. So how somebody's
Mm.
just asked, how do you manage your ups and downs? So you've mentioned at work, they have the well-being sessions and you have training and things. How do you manage it on sort of a day-to-day basis if you're having a low kind of, low day? What do you do to lift yourself? I know you love playing tabla, and I think everyone's
Yeah, I
fallen in
do.
love with
I do.
with your tabla recordings.
I know. I seriously, yeah, I've had a lot more followers. A lot of people are very, very interested. I mean, I love what I do. I love doing it for people. I love making people happy and smile. But I just get into it. Like, I get a song. I ask people to send me a song, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I don't even know where I go. It must be a form of meditation or something
Meditation, I was
with
gonna say, like
something
therapy
with a
almost.
connection with God or above or something like that. Yeah.
That's
I
nice.
just feel the music and I get into it. I mean, I'm not even that very good at tabla. I didn't have a teacher or anything.
We all think you're great.
I learned, thank you. But yeah, obviously I learned a lot from, Gurbani, Shabads, religious music. That's where I started it from. And actually, that is another thing that has really kept me going is Gurbani. I listen to it when I walk to work. I listen to it when I come home from work. Um,
Yeah.
it's really helpful. Um,
kind
Really,
of
really
instills
helpful.
that faith as well, isn't it? I'm the same. I turn to, if I'm having a wobble, I'll just put on some kirtan or,
Yeah, just some
something.
kirtan. Yeah,
Yeah, it just kind of makes me feel balanced. I'm really
yeah,
missing going to Gurdwara at the moment because that's like my place where I go and kind of offload to God, and I'm like, here, these are all your problems now. I'm walking out of it. So I'm missing that. I'm missing that kind of, and it is hard. I mean, it's hard for everyone that's at home at the moment, but for you guys, seeing death daily and kind of being surrounded, and especially when your colleagues are getting sick, I think that's a
mm,
whole nother level. But I think the way you see it and the way your outlook seems to be that, this is part of your training as well, isn't it? This is shaping you to be the doctor that you're going to be in the future as well. This will all be part of your journey, and the
yeah.
amount that you guys are probably learning through this is incredible. What would your advice be to, people that are listening in terms of safety, mental health? Mental health is a massive thing. It's Mental Health Awareness Week this week as well. I
Mm, mm,
personally
mm,
have
mm.
really been struggling this week. I've been really overwhelmed. I've struggled with balance. I've struggled with just, having separate spaces for things. I've just struggled with the whole, am I doing enough? Are we doing the right thing? So what would your advice be to people that are kind of, it seems to be, because it's been about 8 weeks now, people are kind of starting to go through a
Yeah,
bit of a
yeah, yeah,
funk
yeah,
at the
yeah,
moment. Um,
yeah.
what would your advice be to them?
You've really got to talk to someone. You've got to talk to, someone that you can kind of trust. I usually talk to my family. You can talk to, I mean, if you're working or if you're, if you working from home, it's difficult. But if you are going to work, talk to colleagues, talk to your friends.
Yeah,
I think communication is very, very, very important when it comes to mental health. Obviously, there are people that cannot communicate. I find it very, very difficult to communicate, and they're the people that I worry about the most.
yeah,
I mean, that's the thing, really. It's getting over that barrier that I think some of these people have to
yeah,
be able to start communicating their thoughts. Writing their thoughts down can help.
yeah,
So a lot of people write, a lot of people, you know, they sing, they listen to music, they do things, they do activities. They, some people just get some peace of mind by just washing something or washing like the dishes.
yeah.
I mean, I was just seeing that Dr. Ranj guy as well.
Organize things when
Yeah,
I'm like
doctor.
feeling really
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So just
I'll just
like kind of doing something that you maybe used to do when you were little or something. I don't know, like
yeah,
painting. Um, there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of well-being apps. The Royal College of Emergency Medicine actually provided us with a well-being app, which I've been using. You kind of do like mind things. You can talk to people through the app and stuff like that. But as I
good.
said, if you're really, really going through something and you're turning to bad things, whether it be alcohol, drugs, or whatever, that's when you need to kind of, or that's when somebody, if somebody needs to help you, or you need to just cry out for help.
And that's
Obviously,
professional, right?
yeah. I mean, I see the
Yeah.
emergency stuff, so I believe in prevention. Like with it, for example, this virus, even. I believe in prevention, that we don't have a cure. There's no cure for mental health, really. It's something inherent in the mind, and it's the way we are as humans. We have the power to think. We can, it's a very difficult situation when you get stuck and when you get lost in something. Um, you've got to just try and distract yourself a bit and then open up, communicate your feelings, I think. I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm an emergency
No,
medicine doctor,
I
but
think it's fair advice. I mean,
yeah,
based on even, my journey, I think that's one thing that I've really learned during this whole lockdown is literally I've had therapy in the past, and you know, it was great, and I almost thought, oh yeah, I'm fixed now, it's fine. And actually
Mm,
sometimes, you know, that heaviness does kind of come and creep up on you again. And you know, I've decided I need to make sure that I'm having therapy, even if it's once a month, just to check in with someone, just for it to be my time. I think given there's lots of mums on this page, lots of dads, it's so easy to get lost in our day to day, in, you know, managing the kids, managing work, managing the house, that you kind of just lose yourself a little bit, and you can quite easily get to breaking point without realizing that it's happening. So making sure that you
yeah.
are kind of checking in with yourself every so often.
Mm.
Somebody asked here, Serj, what are your thoughts on wearing masks? I think that's for the general public.
So masks outside.
Yeah.
Is mixed opinions. To be honest, again, there's no right or wrong answer. I think more important than masks is social distancing and hand washing, and trying to keep things clean as much as possible when you bring something in the house. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in, you know, wearing masks outside. Um, Personally, I don't really go out too much, to be honest. I mean, I
Yeah.
obviously we have to wear masks at work. We wear our FFP3 in resus with emergency trauma cases and things like this, and then we wear the you know, the masks everywhere else pretty much. But for the general public, the main thing is social distancing, and you know, that means proper social distancing, 2 meters, and not like right together with 20 people, which I've seen all
Yeah.
over the place. And hand washing. It's the only way you can kill something and that you can't even see. That's one thing you got to
Yeah.
remember. It's tough, isn't it? It's really tough.
It's quite scary, yeah, because you can't see it, it's almost not there.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you see patients who should have been admitted in earlier but were afraid to come in because of the virus?
I have seen them. I've seen a few cases. Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen, as I said before, I've seen some chest pains 3 days
Yeah.
late.
Oh God.
Um, Touch wood, they've been sort of okay, stable. But then there are the patients that can have, you know, if they have like a, for example, stroke, you
Mm,
can get mini strokes. And the thing is, if something feels wrong, you know, you need to go for the help, because even a mini stroke can get recurrent mini strokes, and then what happens is they can get a massive stroke, and that's very crucial. That's fatal.
this was
Um,
one of the things that the doctor said to us when my mum had her mini stroke. They said to us, if you hadn't have called the ambulance when you did, she wouldn't still be here. Actually, her heart rate was just so erratic, and you wouldn't know looking at her. I mean, we knew because her speech went funny, but it's so important. If you feel like, you know, if you don't feel right, and
mm,
you know,
mm.
you would normally go to A&E, you should be going to A&E still.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
look, if you're not sure, just call 111. That's what it's there
yeah,
for. If you're not sure,
yeah,
go call 111 or go to the website. That's
yeah.
what it's there for. That's the emergency line.
It's true. It's true. I'm just reading some of the comments. Has anybody got any questions for Serj while we're here? Um,
I just wanted to say something about immunity while you're,
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah,
just I always give a few tips. So I think, as I said, hand washing is extremely important, and try and do that as often as you can.
hmm,
Also, social distancing is very important, but healthy eating, okay, and trying to get as much sun as possible. And by that, I don't mean going to the beach with millions of
yeah,
people and just sitting there, you know, being crazy. But I'm saying you should get about 20 to 30 minutes of sun a day if you can. You know, it's
Okay.
easier for the guys to kind of take their top off and lie in the sun, but try and get some sun, okay? Because vitamin D is extremely important, and there's a lot of studies going on around vitamin D at the moment, and
Mhm.
it's actually one of the most crucial vitamins, because it not only promotes immune health, but it promotes kidney health and cardiovascular health as well. And
Oh,
Asian people are the worst. You know, we just don't get vitamin D. So when we get our blood test from the GP, our vitamin D is like in the severely low category. But you have to top it up with sun, and you have to top it up with tablets. So try and get some sort of medication.
okay.
Vitamin C is also very important. So eat your fruit, eat your oranges, these sorts of things. So keep up your vegetables in your diet.
Okay. That's really helpful. I need to sort my diet out. Actually, it's gone a little bit pear-shaped in the last few weeks.
I know everyone seems to be baking cakes,
Yeah, it's because there's nothing else to do. Well, there are
but
things to do,
that's
but
amazing actually, to be honest.
your
I
whole
love a
life
good
is kind
cake. Love a good
of
cake.
focused around food at the moment.
We are really spoiled at the hospital. Seriously, every time I go into the staff room, there's cakes. Literally, I love it.
Oh,
It's so cool.
you guys going too, right? Somebody's asked, how do you switch off? How do you yourself switch off after work and not let this affect you mentally? How
I
do you
talk
kind of
I talk to my
you kind
loved ones.
of yeah.
Talk to my loved ones before I go to sleep. I don't watch TV. I don't really watch films. I don't watch movies. To music, have some nice food, um, talk to family, and then I'll, yeah,
You're ready?
conk out.
That's such
To be honest,
a
my work actually tires me out, especially in the
yeah.
last 3 days. It's been crazy. It's been really busy. It tires me out, and I just kind of
But is that you're doing this
doze
out
off.
of choice, right? This isn't you've got to go in for the extra shifts. Is that you're doing this out of
The these 3 shifts I've just had were rotated shifts. Um,
yeah.
so we get 4 to 5 rotated shifts a week, and then I try and take an extra one every week or so.
Okay, no, it's I guess at the moment, given your
And I do
and
work nights as well, because someone just asked that.
yeah,
Yeah,
do you work nights?
we do a lot of nights, we do a lot of lates. Yeah, so we're on 3 types of shift pattern. We're on day shift, we're on twilight shift, we're on one night and the night shift. And yeah, I'm usually in charge at night, so that can be pretty tough as well.
Yeah. Is that so you're calling kind of are you the person that people are coming to ask for?
So I love helping my juniors. That's one thing I love
Yeah.
doing. I love teaching, and I'm always there no matter what. They can come to me for help and stuff, and I love reviewing the patients as well.
Yeah.
We kind of the team. I mean, someone has to take the handover, which I do, but we do
Yeah.
it as a team. And the nurse in charge is amazing. Like there's a few of them out there who are seriously good, and we just work together. We click.
Yeah,
But
which is
that's the
really
thing.
important, isn't it?
Yeah,
Having
we
that
just
rapport with your team is
yeah.
everything.
Like this place
Um,
has now become my family, my second family. That's how it feels like. Yeah. So I
I'm
made
glad
some
you
really
have
good
that
friends.
because they are your family right now, aren't they? Like that is your main kind of
This
face-to-face
is
human contact.
yeah. I see them like
Yeah.
pretty much every day, every single day for the last 8 weeks.
Um,
So
somebody, somebody's asked Serj, do you class type 1 diabetes as high risk? Is that classed as high risk?
yeah, so my understanding is that any diabetes is high risk. Um,
Yeah.
Whether it be type 1 or type 2.
Okay.
It's because diabetes affects everything
Hmm.
in the body. It affects the small vessels.
Yeah.
So the very small vessels, and there's small vessels that go to every part of the body, whether it be the feet, the kidneys, the brain, the heart. You know, everything can get affected by diabetes. So just make sure your diabetes is well controlled. You know, you're eating healthy, and if you have any concerns, just please call 111. Yeah,
Yeah.
if a diabetic patient gets a fever, I think they should be urged to call 111 for advice and, possibly a coronavirus test.
How are those coronavirus tests being done at the moment? Is it a kit sent to your house? Is it somebody comes to your house? Is it how is that working? Was it different in every kind of
I think
borough or every trust, I should say?
I think everywhere is slightly different. I mean, we actually have a COVID testing site just around the corner where
Yeah.
people can go through. I mean, it was initially open to NHS staff and things, but they're still only testing if you've got symptoms. And the thing is, how do you even know you've got this thing? Because some people are asymptomatic.
Mm,
But the main symptoms, as everyone knows, is fever, cough. These are the big ones. Shortness of breath. These are the big three. And now they've added loss of taste, loss of smell.
yeah.
I mean, I've seen some people that come in with these things as well.
Yeah, that's quite common. One of my friends had it, and those were her symptoms as well, loss
Mm.
of taste. Um, Lots
Mm.
of lovely comments for you, Serj. Just that, thank you so much for the hard work that you're doing, for the sacrifices that you're making, for being so humble. And I echo that. I obviously know you personally, and you've always been extremely humble and a really great
Thank you.
guy. Somebody's asked, you mentioned you're working extra shifts. Do you have any plans for holidays once all of this is over? NHS workers deserve a break.
They actually took away our annual leave, unfortunately, till basically, I think I've got some time coming off in a couple of weeks, but I'm probably going to take some extra shifts, to be honest.
Yeah, while
Um,
you can, I guess.
the thing is, like, I just don't think it's worth the risk, of doing
Yeah,
anything at the moment. I mean, look, things will get better.
yeah,
Every pandemic that's ever happened, okay, there've been some nasty, nasty ones, and things have become, quite serious, but it will get better. It's
yeah,
just only time will tell, and I think we just need to work together. It's teamwork. This is what I said
yeah.
last time. This is all
The
teamwork.
more we work together, the quicker this will pass. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, not everyone's on the same page. Somebody's just asked, this is a really important question. So if you have been shielding because you've been told to for the 12 weeks, should you continue to do that past the 12 weeks? What is the advice on that?
Again, that's something I can't really answer. We're getting this from the chief scientists, we're getting this from the chief medical officers, we're getting this from research all over the world, we're getting it from our government, basically. I think
Yeah,
we do have to trust our government in a way, as much as we can, because they are getting the advice from the chief officers, the chief guys, and science is directing the medicine at the moment. I would say
yeah,
that please carry on for if you've been asked to shield for 12 weeks, finish the 12 weeks, and then, you know, just wait and see what happens. This is all I can say. And you have the choice, you have the choice whether you even
exactly.
walk out of your house
Yeah.
or do something. If you don't feel right, just continue.
I think the fact that, like for us, we were told by the pediatrician that Sergeant's high risk, please keep him, shielded. And even though I haven't had another conversation with her, given the fact that, lockdown has been relaxed and people are kind of going a bit crazy, that doesn't take away from the fact that Sergeant is still high risk. He is still high risk. This virus is still out there. Um, you know, there's going to be a second wave, and for us, it just makes sense to continue with that. But I know everyone's very different. Um, but yeah, hopefully there'll be some more advice that comes out about, people that are considered high risk or vulnerable. in the coming weeks? Because that was one of my questions as well, just in general for my parents and things like that. Like, should they just crack on with life now, or should they, you know, should they still be? It's tough, isn't it?
I think, as I said, we're still very early on in this pandemic. Even though it's, even though we're seeing the deaths come down and we're seeing like other countries completely come out of lockdown and stuff, but we don't know enough about this virus. And the UK's had it's like the hardest hit in the whole of Europe as well. And I would advise the elderly to just hold on a bit, just hang on. And just see what happens, because like, if they can get a vaccine, for the virus, that will be key. I really hope that we can do it by, I think they've said initial phase will be September.
Okay, will that be widely available, or will it be, where will that be? Will that be anybody that's sick can have that vaccination, or is it just going to be available?
Yeah.
We're not sure yet.
Early days. Who knows? We're not sure. I think as we know with all, with all vaccines, with all medications that come onto the market, they have to be trialed. Because they could potentially also be very risky themselves. Especially if they're live or however they're creating them, they might have some serious side effects. They have to do lots of research and studies on it for it to be safe.
And
it's
also
all about safety.
Medicine like that, right? I mean, people that are on medication as well, you don't know how that vaccine will kind of work with those as well.
This is why
somebody's asking. Yeah. Sorry, go on, Serj.
No, I was just saying, this is why I am a big believer in prevention rather than cure. Because once you get to the stage where you need a cure, we don't know once you get this virus, whether it's going to come back, whether you get it again or again. And if you do get serious, if you're lucky enough to survive the virus, has it caused permanent damage? Has it caused damage to your lungs? We're seeing the really sick patients coming in with hypoxia, which means that their oxygen levels have dropped. They're the really sick ones that need to go onto the special ventilators and things like that.
Yeah.
But the chest X-rays that we see, you see like you've got, the two lungs and stuff that are full of fluid, and we still don't know how the patients who've survived that are going to do in the long run, because it could cause chronic lung disease. It could cause like a secondary type of asthma, or what we call like COPD. We just don't know. And that's why prevention is so much more important than cure right now.
It's just crazy that people that are going about their lives like nothing's going on it's almost like people believe that this isn't going to impact them, this isn't going to touch their family, this isn't going to touch their loved ones, but it doesn't really discriminate against anyone. If you're going to get, anybody can get it, and it's quite scary that it's quite scary how people are kind of just ignoring it. Somebody was asking if if coronavirus has been in the UK since last year. Do we know when it first came to the country? Do we know when it first came to the country? No. It's probably quite hard to decipher, isn't it? 'Cause
I think the thing is, you've got like it's a virus, but there are millions of viruses out there, and it can mimic. This thing can mimic flu. It can mimic the common cold, because we have just told everyone to isolate or whatever, even if they've got a little bit of a fever. But we know that the common cold can cause fever, gastroenteritis can cause fever, tonsillitis can cause fever. you know, all
It's
sorts
just
of
better to be
things. So
safe than sorry,
it's,
isn't it? That's even when I wasn't well, I just stayed in my room. I mean, the boys were
yeah,
coming in because it was impossible to keep them away, but they weren't coming near me because I just didn't know what it was that I had. I'd never felt like that before.
yeah.
Um,
Well, this is
I'd
where
rather,
and this is where an antibody test will help, and they are coming through. So they're the private companies at the moment, Roche, but I think the NHS, the government are trying to buy 10 million tests or something by next week, and then hopefully dish them out. They're going to start with the NHS staff who feel, I think,
yeah.
that they've had it, or you know, have had it, and then they get antibody tested. But even then,
Have you had
like,
the test done? Have you needed to have the test
no,
done? No. I hope
no,
it continues that way. Yeah.
yeah, I hope, I hope.
Well, Serj, it's been really, really lovely catching up. I'm so glad you're okay. Keep up the love videos because I know everybody loves them.
Yeah, just send
Also,
me requests. Just keep sending them. Yeah,
it's good therapy for you as well. It's something, to keep you occupied whilst you've got some downtime.
yeah,
Stay safe and keep us posted on, how things progress. Maybe we can catch up again in a couple of a couple of weeks' time to see how things are going. And
sure,
yeah,
sure.
thank you so much. And
How
thank
are
you
your
guys for,
friends?
they're good. They're all right. I
Yeah, they're
mean,
good.
us as a four, it's okay. We're kind of settling, but it's like I said, we're struggling with the whole balance. I'm struggling with the whole balance. Um, it's hard sort of being away from the parents. They came a few weeks, like last week, just sort of from a distance, and actually that made me miss them even more. Sort of seeing them for a little while, it kind of
It's hard.
it's hard. It's really hard. My brother-in-law, so Breatham's brother, he works for the AA and he's been working on ambulances. So that kind of means that he's not able to isolate and, or social distance, sorry, and that kind of impacts my in-laws and us being able to see them. So it's quite tough. I wonder what the boys are making of it. They're pretty
Mm,
content at home, but
yeah.
it's tough.
I think
It's
I
tough on
think
everyone.
yeah. So I see this as a duty. I see it as a job, and I see my end goal is that I will get to give my family a massive hug, and that's what I'm working for that. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. We have
I'm
to do
sure
that.
they
We're working together. We're doing a job. This is a job that we've been given to do. And the end
Yeah,
goal is going to be love. It's going to be a massive big hug, but we have to do it together. So
definitely. And appreciation, appreciation for each other and everything and just not taking things for granted so much. I'm sure Samnika Perry, I know they've been sending you lots of love even through
I know that I
here.
can see them. They're crazy.
And I bet they can't wait to be reunited with you as well. I'm excited. I feel like that should be filmed that just for you guys to kind of cherish.
Can you imagine?
Um,
That's going to be like, yeah, yeah.
it's going to be amazing. And same with your mum and dad. Send them our love as well. I know it must be really tough. I know how
I
much,
will do.
you know,
I will do.
naturally our parents worry. So while you're getting to speak to
Mm.
your mum, I'm sure at the same time you're reassuring her that you're okay. And it's like a two-way
Yeah, yeah,
comfort thing,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
But thank
yeah.
you so much, Serge. It's been really, really lovely to catch up with you. I'm going to go down now and probably fall asleep during this movie that I've just planned. That kid can literally stay up all night. He does not need sleep. Like sleep is so
uh,
important in his world. And I'm like, oh gosh. So yeah, but you take care and we will
yeah,
catch
you
up
too.
soon.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
see you
much.
later.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.